MNCs. They do not unfold in accordance with master plans. The ones ultimately, succeed. They go quickly. They shift quickly from failure to failure, all the while adapting, iterating on, and improving their initial ideas as they continually learn from customers. Am I clear? Yes, you can record it, no problem. But can you, actually, I'm still not able to see the chat. I don't know why.
Ma'am, the chat option is enabled only for the team members. I'm trying to configure it is that.
Oh, okay. Now I got it. Fine. Okay. So if you have that, then you can give me an email. I can. It would have been little interactive. Otherwise, it's just I am speaking and I don't know who is listening to me or not. Okay.
Okay, ma'am,
So
I'm trying. I'll just. Also, you can just
okay.
ask the participants to interact by switching on their mic. That would be better, I suppose.
That will be a cumbersome process, and okay,
Okay,
no
fine.
problem. Okay. Let me just share. I will share this. I hope this is visible. No?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay. So this is problem identification slide, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I just want to focus on one thing, that one of the critical differences is that while existing companies execute a business model, startups look for one. And this distinction is very, very important for a startup to understand, because it actually shapes a startup. So there are very, very simple principles. Rather than investing months of planning and research, and entrepreneurs accept that all they have is, on the day one, they have a series of untested lot of guesses. So that, instead of writing an intricate business plan, they should focus on forming a canvas. And the key to everything is you have to listen to the customers. So during your first phases of this, deciding to build up a startup, you have to find the or search for the customers. Now, this is only possible when the test assumptions about customers' need and a minimum viable product is proposed. Now, I have talked about two things. One is customer needs and MVP, that is minimum viable product. Now, to test all these hypotheses, you have to validate customer interest through early orders, product usage. And if there's no interest, then the startup can pivot by changing one or more hypotheses. So basically, you have to understand it very nicely that startup is no different than any micro enterprise or business that has started. So you have to find customers. You should not always think about fundings, grants, and stuff. So you have to focus on customers. Now, the product is refined enough to sell when the startups actually build on a solution which is required. So, for a solution, what you need is, you first need a proper problem identification. Without a proper problem identification, it is very difficult when you just work on assumptions or business model or 5-year reviews and numbers, which is not very lucrative for any startup to build on. So I will just go take through these slides, and maybe then we can see. Okay, now this slide is full screen. Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. So now the first thing is, is it important and can't we solve first? Now it is very important that you find the problem. You don't create a problem and then try to solve it. Now this is the problem with lot of startups. What they do is, they do not actually try to find a problem. which is existing in the market, which can easily give you a upper hand to scale up. But rather than they dream about a project which is actually not existing, and then they try to provide a solution for it. So whatever idea you have, you need to understand that you have to know the problem before you're going to solve it. Now, the first thing that comes into my mind is, now whenever you are trying to solve a problem, or whenever you are pitching to in front of investors or incubators or angel investors or friends or customers, the first thing everybody looks in your presentation is what is that you are solving, what is the product that you have, and the product is solving what problem of the current scenario of the market. They do not look for extraordinary or out of the way, out of the earth products, because initially a startup should always focus on solving real problems which they themselves are capable of. Like, you as an individual should be able to solve the problem. Now, you cannot solve a problem unless and until you identify what is the problem. So once you have a problem statement with you, then it is very, 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 very possible that you will be able to solve it. So Abraham Lincoln famously once said that if you give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. So that is what we mean when we say that please understand your customer need and try to build at least a 50% of MVP. Talk about your product to the stakeholders. Suppose, let's say example, you are building a product for healthcare industry. Then who are the stakeholders? You have to talk to doctors, patients, healthcare, that is hospitals, and of course the policymakers. So you need to talk to them and find out your ways and means. If you do not want to discuss the idea to them or present your idea, at least present or find out the problem statement in and around your solution that you have thought will work out. So you have to actually talk to all the stakeholders before you plan building a software or hardware or a product that you will think that it will solve some problem. Now, this is something which Albert Einstein told, that if I were given 1 hour to save the planet, then I would spend 59 minutes defining it. That is the problem, and maybe then it will take just 1 hour to resolve it. 1 minute to resolve it. Now, these are some of the important things: how to identify a problem, how to understand a problem, analyze, plan, evaluate, implement, how to define a problem statement, and what are the feasibilities of creating a solution. Now, you would wonder that why all these things are important, because anytime you pitch a startup idea, maybe for a competition or maybe for a class discussion, or to direct investors or whatsoever, the first thing is they would ask what is the problem that you are trying to solve. So the problem statement, writing the problem statement as an initial early stage innovator is very important. You must have studied in research methodology and subjects. If you have, that any research would trigger from research questions, and those research questions will go and form a problem statement, and then you propose some hypothesis or some possible solution, and then you find one. So the first point any investor asks is, what is the problem statement? What is that you are trying to solve? What is that you are giving solution for? So the problems or the problem solving process is basically the storytelling part in your pitch. Now, when you I will give you a funny idea. One of the startups, they have more than 7 to 8 patents on designing different machines on mushroom cultivation. And the person is who came, who has filed around 8-9 patents, he came, I asked him that what is it. Now he told, my wife is doing mushroom cultivation, and when I ask her that what is the problem, why you are not helping me, then she says that I have a problem in chopping the straws which is used in mushroom cultivation. Now what he does is, to provide a solution to my wife, what I did was I invented a machine which will chop chop the straws, and then he put another problem my wife will put, then I invented another machine, and the series goes on, and he files 9 patents. Now whenever you are trying to find a problem, you have to find a real user who is actually facing those problems. It can be you, your friends, or somebody who is actually facing it, because problems are inevitable, but they are solvable. Maybe 30%, 40%, 50%, but does not matter. You can grow from 10 to 200 very quickly, but you should have the right problem. Now problem solving with a story is basically a meta skill that you try to build, because it is something, when you put the whole problem solving theory into a story, it actually becomes your pitch to investor, which attracts them, that this person has actually faced the problem and they are trying to solve it. So the first step to a pitch deck is the problem statement. You have to actually talk about the problem that you have faced, or somebody has faced, that you have witnessed, and you are trying to propose a story about it or a solution about it. Now every story, as usual, has a context, a problem, and a solution. So if you have, there are 26 odd participants which I see, if you have a context and a problem and there is no solution, then you are ready to build a startup. This is what I want to say, that so what is your context and how you're going to write your story. Now, the best way to identify his problem is to basically ask right questions to right people, obviously. So the rigor with which a problem is defined is the important factor in a good solution creation, because this is very important, that any founder who is trying to build up on their strategies, or who are trying to find co-founders, they always should complement each other in different activities that they have thought. And this will only come, that is, you are a tech specialist, so you know that I am not able to identify, I can build a software, I can code, I have this idea that I will build a solution for this kind of problem. And then you find people who are in marketing, finance, and others, who can combine together and form a startup, which will give you idea about what problem to solve and how, so that you can encash on the missing opportunities or missing areas which you can actually focus on trying to solve a problem. Now there are some examples, like I want to build a social media site, promote less use of social media. This is very, vague. You want to put social media to say people don't solve. These are some of the practical people who are to me and talked about these ideas, ma'am. We want to build this, ma'am. Social media, ज़्यादा use हो रहा है, use people are using it more. So we want to tell them that don't use social media by creating another platform. Now, this is right. Now you want to build a parking booking application metros, as there is no space for parking, during holidays. Now, if you cannot use certain spaces like private property, free parking is there already, no spaces in commercial shopping complex, why you have to build a parking booking applications? So these are small things that you have to understand when you are building a new startup or trying to solve questions. So you have to ask the right questions. Like, I want to build a parking booking application. That is a big problem. You understand, accept it. Yes. But what is actually the solution to it? Is it that you should promote public transport? Or is it that you are trying to create more parking space? Because now how a booking application can help, then you have to understand that not searching for more spaces rather than finding out something else that I also don't know. So these are some of the very crucial things that you have to build upon and to find out that how you're going to manage these kind of problems, which are very common. And these are problems. Social media is a problem, parking is a problem. Now you find out ways and means how you're going to solve it. And are you solving the right problem? Because social media is a problem. Using social media is a problem, but creating another social media website and talking about not using social media doesn't make sense. So to identify a problem, first you need to justify, does it require a solution? So do not find a solution just because there is one available. See if it is adaptable, people want to use it, they are ready to accept it. Check the time required to solve the problem. The problem is to be solved in 1 year. If you solve it in 10 hours, 10 years, then it does not make sense. And creating users, like suppose I am a person who is trying to create a community in sustainable fashion, and if I do not find any individual, in a span of 6 months to come to me, then something there I'm doing wrong. Okay, so that kind of understanding and that kind of black hole should be created. You should not be searching things which are in the wrong line. So you have to every time cross check. For that you need people, you need a team. So your team is the next. Once you find the problem statement, then you find the team who can actually help you out in understanding and building problem. Now the first thing comes to the problem statement, which is very important. Solution thoda baad mein aayega. Then your team comes into place where you have a variation in the team. You have experts, you have boys, you have girls, you have different age group people. I'm just giving an example, it's not mandatory, I'm just giving a picture. And then you have some mentors, some advisors, some industry partners, some people who praise you. So you need that kind of time. And also you need some people who say bad things about you. Please remember that. Now, this is an example which I have taken from government scheme. If you can see, this is dated 2022, this is 2023. Now, Ujjwala scheme is a very popular scheme where free gas cylinders are given to women in villages. I hope you know. Now, 90 lakh people could buy even the first LPG refill in 2021-22. So basically what happened is the scheme was launched. This is a government scheme, right? Now here also they thought that they will provide cylinders and make usage of, what do you say it, clean fuel for everybody. But it didn't work, right? This one. Now what they did was they extended the subsidy or LPG under Ujjwala scheme by 1 year. Can you do something like this? No, you have to actually come up with ideas which has to work in 1-2 years. Otherwise, how are you going to sustain? So these kind of risks only public policies and environmental policies and governments can take. But you are not allowed to take such kind of things. But to extend a subsidy or wait till the result comes, you have to actually find the result sooner. Now, how to identify a problem? That is, this is all theory that is written here, and now I will just focus on the most important thing is how will you evaluate solution and measure success? Because I know that this is the only thing that is important for you. You can read this one, but I will just focus on this part, that once you establish the need for a solution, कि आपका जो problem आपने चुना है उसमें solution लोगों को चाहिए भी कि नहीं, है ना? शायद गवर्नमेंट ने जो गैस चूल्हा दिया वो सॉल्यूशन चाहिए ही नहीं था लोगों को. लोगों के घर के पीछे they would get some wood and something they were using, and probably they did not need a gas cylinder which was given to them because of the initiative that people should use clean fuel. So you have to also understand that people really need that solution now, because you are a private limited company for money. So you have to justify the need. Then you can contextualize the problem and write a problem statement. Now, how will you evaluate solution? The simple is this. Now you have to understand that 35% of startups fail because there is no market need. It is not because they ran out of cash, or that it was a poor product, or it was pivoting was not good, team सही नहीं थी, pricing सही नहीं था. It is because actually the product is not made for the market, and they build up on that, and that is the major reason, and that is what we want to focus on, because cash or raising new capital will be also a part of this, because if the product is not needed, then people will not invest. It's like a vice versa thing. I hope you understand. So when there is no need of the product, then the investors will also not come to you. So these one, two, reasons for the product was not apt. And sometimes the team was not very good to, raise capital or something, you can tell. But for me, the most important fact is actually the solution was not needed. Now, how to understand a problem? The first thing is find supporters to validate the problem. ऐसा नहीं आप पैसे देके अपने friend को बोल रहे हो तुम मेरा subscribe करा ले, ऐसे नहीं करना है. What you have to do is you have to really find the supporters to validate the problem is existing. And then brainstorm with different group of people in your family, friends, family, friends, and you have to find out the root causes. Do not rely on symptoms, okay? Because early adopters होते हैं ना, people who जो पहला मोबाइल आया खरीद लिया, पहला कुछ आया, and they throw also quicker. So you should rely on early adopters or symptoms of the problem. You have to find the root causes and always identify the users. कौन आपके प्रोडक्ट के लिए पैसा देगा? Who is going to pay you for your solution? Now, if you find those people, then I don't think you require anything. No funding, कुछ नहीं चाहिए. You have to find real users who will pay for your solution and use it. अब जबरदस्ती किसी को नहीं बोल रहे हो कि आपको ये करना है वैसे करना है. You should not actually. Now, it's also very important to know where to start from. आपको अगर आपने एक solution provide करना है तो आपको ये बताना होगा कि आपने कहाँ से शुरू करना है. Suppose you want to build a GPS system, let's say कि आपको सारे कारवार में लगाना है. Now what is that? अगर ये इंटरैक्टिव होता ना तो थोड़ा और अच्छा होता, पर शायद आपका मैसेज काम नहीं कर रहा है ना चैट. आई एम नॉट एबल टू स्टिल सी इट. Okay, so I feel like talking to a wall, but okay, so now the most important thing is how you're going to deploy the solution. Now this is very important to understand कि आपको अपने सिटी से शुरू करना है, घर से करना है, स्कूल से करना है, कॉलेज से करना है, कहाँ से शुरू करना है, because the pilot actually decides on the future of the solution. इसमें हम बोलते हैं traction. Traction always does not mean money. It also means onboarded customers, onboarded users. किस किस को बेचा आपने, कौन है जो आपका खरीदना चाहता है आपको solution, who is the first person who is coming to you. तो traction का मतलब दो हम लोग ले लेते हैं. एक तो हो गया traction is your money that you have raised, sales वगैरह या फिर funding जो भी है, and other is how much onboarded users and how much onboarded clients you have. वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट मैटर करता है. नाउ ऑफ कोर्स इकोनॉमिक, एनवायरमेंटल, टेक्निकल, पॉलिटिकल, ये सारे कंस्ट्रेंट्स आपको सोच के चलना है, बिकॉज यू हैव टू अबाइड बाय ऑल दीज रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस, बिकॉज यू स्टे इन अ कंट्री, इन अ सोसाइटी, सो यू कैन नॉट थिंक और इम्पोज solution on people की ये ऐसे ही होना है, ऐसे आप नहीं कर सकते. So you have to be very careful, you have to be ethical, you have to be society oriented, the impact has to be good, you should not actually use a lot of natural resources and stuff. This is a very simple example of, the symptoms, problem and causes. थोड़ा हमने इसको अच्छे से अगर समझेंगे तो first thing is you have to go for 5 whys. Suppose you have a problem, then you go why and why. So 5 times. So look for the data, patterns. Don't put a band-aid on your problem. So what you have to do is you have to at least ask 5 times. Why? Then you have to see why. मतलब सपोज मैं आपको एग्जांपल दे रही हूँ. सपोज मुझे एक बिजनेस आइडिया, जीपीएस सिस्टम मेरे को लगाना है सब गाड़ी में. क्यों करना है? ताकि ट्रांसपोर्टेशन इजी हो जाए, आईओटी हो जाए, ये हो जाए. फिर मैंने बोला कि चलो आईओटी करना है, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन इजी क्यों करना है? फिर हम बोलते हैं कि हम लोग को लगता है कि अगर ये इजी होगा तो हमारे लिए चोरी कम हो जाएगा, हमें पता होगा हमारा व्हीकल कहाँ है. Then why you want to know कि आपका व्हीकल कहाँ है, चोरी नहीं हो रहा है, why you want to know. So you go step wise 5 times high. Why? So that you can find. Now, did I miss a slide? No, I didn't. So now I'll go a little bit fast so that I'll give you an exercise. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think the slide is stuck in first slide only. The presentation is stuck in first slide only. And can you please check from inside?
Oh my God! Then nobody is listening to me.
We are listening, but we aren't able to see the slide.
Oh my God, I have already reached to 18 number slide. Can you see now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Choose a problem. Is it moving?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Now you changed from how to define a. Yes, ma'am. Now it's changing. It's problem solving methods now.
Okay, at least I want to see this slide. बहुत सारा अच्छा अच्छा slide तो चला गया ऊपर. चलो कोई बात नहीं. ये आप देख लो. I will share this slide any which way so you can see it. Now can you see this one? So basically the causes, problem and symptoms. है ना? Now you can actually relate that how you're going to define it. And this is the 5 why I was talking. And the basic thing is that you don't put a band-aid. What you do is you at least ask 5 times why, and why. See a problem in order to. Now the slide is 17. Can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So a problem statement is a short and clear explanation of an issue or challenge. Because I give you an exercise which you have to tell me. So I'm giving you a small example how I'm going to define a problem. A problem statement is a short, clear explanation of an issue or challenge that sums up what you want to change. है ना? आप क्या आपने choose किया है? What is that you have chosen? And what is the change that you expect it will create if you get the solution? And what is that your solution is going to change in normal day-to-day life of any individual that you are giving a proposition of solution or a problem that you are trying to solve? See, आपका customer सिर्फ इंसान है, right? You are not selling to trees, plants or animals or people because the payment तो नहीं करेगा. So you have to think in that perspective that whatever issue or challenge that is there with the environment or with the society, you have to have a short and clear. समझते हो ना वैसे ही समझाओ ना आगे वाले को. And it helps you, your team members and everybody else to focus on the problem, like what is that it impacts, what is that, why it is very important to solve. If it is not solved, then what are the repercussions? If it is solved, what is good, what is bad. Now, a good problem statement would of course stimulate creative thinking. So it consists of problem itself, context of why, and method of solving it. Now you choose a problem that you think you can face. You can write those problems जो आपने choose किया है, so that if not now, maybe later on I can help you out with those things. You can write at least 1 or 2. If I can see, there is a Q&A here, but there are no questions here, I guess. Okay, it's not opening. Meanwhile, I'll give you a brief of problem identification and idea generation. I understand that most of you must have, some kind of idea, but when there is a roadblock in a situation which causes a conflict or forces a startup entrepreneur to find a solution, then this roadblock is a problem. It's the problem should be so eminent that you cannot stay back, hold back rather than solving it. So that is what a problem is actually. So if something is that forceful, then you should immediately go ahead and work for it. So the most important thing is it should be able to identify the target groups facing the problem. कौन है वो target group जिसको problem हो रही है. Now the objective is to find a market acceptability of the solutions so that you can help solve the problem of target. मैं बोलती हूँ आप 5 लोग इकट्ठा करो जिनको प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है और उसको सॉल्व करो. 5 people at least. उनको पूछो कि क्या प्रॉब्लम है तुम्हारी लाइफ में, या फिर जो आप सोच के चल रहे हो उनको पूछो क्या इस रिलेटेड कोई प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है. At least solve problem of 5 people, then also I am very happy. Now to understand the need of the market, point 1, to bring out new product in the market, to become creative, to increase employment, and of course the national income of the country. नेशनल इनकम ऑफ द कंट्री. अगर आपको कोई पैसा लगा रहा है तो आपको ये भी होना चाहिए कि हम लोग ये सारी चीजें कैसे अचीव करें. यूजुअली एंटरप्रेन्योर खुद ये सारे प्रॉब्लम ढूंढता है, बट कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि आप कस्टमर से बात करते हो तो इंस्टेंट सॉल्यूशन कस्टमर ढूंढते हैं, जैसे रेडी टू कुक मील हो गया है ना, इट वाज समथिंग व्हिच वाज ऑलरेडी कस्टमर ने खुद अपने तरफ से बोला कि आई नीड द सॉल्यूशन फॉर दिस. Considering the idea generation should be visible. The idea should be visible. ऐसा आइडिया होना चाहिए कि इंसान को पहले बार देख के समझ में आ जाए. और बिजनेस आइडिया हमेशा मार्केट ट्रेंड, कंज्यूमर नीड्स से होता है. बहुत कम ऐसा होता है कि आप एक्सीडेंटली कुछ आइडिया डेवलप कर लेते हैं, but usually it is careful analysis only. And you have to also agree with me that you should go with the market trend, consumer needs, and trying to solve problems which is existing if it is a social impact startup. I will give you some of the sources of idea fields. You can write it down if you want. Natural resources is one idea field. Existing products and services, मैंने बोला consumer needs वगैरह. Trending related ideas, जो आप सोच रहे हो उसके related ideas. Creative efforts, service sector related ideas, and the most important is market or demand driven ideas. ओके सो ये बहुत ज्ञान हो गया मेरा पीपीटी का. तो ये आपने प्रॉब्लम चूज कर लिया कुछ किसी ने? ओके मैम, वॉइस इज ब्रेकिंग. आई एम ओनली एबल टू सी स्लाइड 1. ओके, नाउ इज इट विजिबल? कौन? Mayank, is it visible? Jatin, is it visible? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, your voice is breaking, but we can see your screen.
My voice is breaking continuously since the beginning or now?
Yes, ma'am. From the beginning, actually.
Oh my God! Then the people should have told that my voice is breaking. I could have switched to better network. Now is it audible or it is still breaking?
It breaks in the middle, ma'am.
Acha.
Like it's fine now, and in some while it will break again. It's like happening like that.
Okay. Chalo, now this is also one problem which we talk about: artificial intelligence, ML, AR, VR, and everything. But the internet connectivity is so bad that we cannot even run a Teams meeting. So you should think a solution for this. Infrastructure is a big issue in India, right? Okay, so I'll go to the next slide. This we have already discussed. Now the feasibilities of creating a solution. So the first thing is that, as I told, that it is not very important that you build a product, build a proposal which will last for 5 years. You do a preliminary analysis. You try to get feedback from relevant stakeholders and look for other business scenarios and find out what is the gap in between. Now, once that you have some data with you, you try to make it solid. Determine that this data that I have collected, please try to ensure that they're authentic. And for that, you have to ask people questions. You have to go to the market and talk to people. So preliminary analysis is a very, very important part whenever you are trying to identify a potential problem for which the solution is already with you. Even if not, does not matter. The most important thing is you should identify the problem, and then you go for a market survey and try to find out the market demand. Then you think about a business plan. So first 3 steps are very important, and business plan can always be altered. So you need not pressurize yourself thinking ki 5 saal mein itna we have to achieve, we have to get this done by this much time, this is the kind of business I wanted to build. No, you have to be flexible. You should not fall for a business that nahi hoga to nahi chalega. Aisa nahi hai. You have to be flexible, open to different business ideas. You are of course required to have a projected income statement so that you would be ready for what is happening, what is not. but you should not actually bothered about a number which will be achieved 5 years later. So you should make small business plans for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months, and then go ahead and build it for 5 years altogether. Now create a opening day balance sheet. That is very important when you start. It is very famous saying that the community who are known for business, are Marwaris and Sindhis, and so what they do is whenever they start a business, they start writing every paisa they spend. So that is very important activity that you have to do. Currently, you are spending 1 hour to listen to me. So you should always put that also, that कि startup build करना है तो वो class जो 1 घंटे का था वो भी इसमें डालना है, कितना time उसमें गया, कितना पैसा मैंने खर्च किया. So those are two important things, right? Time and paisa. So you have to keep an account of both of these two things. Now you will need to identify and address, of course, the vulnerabilities and obstacles. Now, to go ahead with a plan is very good, but if you do not have a plan, then you can always discuss and come up with a plan. That is what I mean. Now, from prototype to product, that is feasibility to viability. Now, prototype बनाने में टाइम लगता है. ऐसा नहीं कि आपने आज सोचा you will have the prototype ready tomorrow. So the goal of building a product or a prototype or MVP or whatsoever is design thinking process. So you have to create a solution that is desirable, feasible and viable. DFV, so it has to be desirable, people should need it. It should be feasible कि आप बना रहे हो तो लोगों को समझ आ रहा है, लोगों को पसंद आ रहा है और आप भी बना पा रहे हो उसको सही टाइम पे. And viable. You should not be building a thing which is very pricey. अगर आप एक ग्लास बनाओगे और बोलोगे ये ग्लास में गर्म ठंडा रहेगा, ये रहेगा, वो रहेगा, but the price of the glass is $100, then my God, who is going to buy it? So it has to be desirable, feasible and viable. So please keep that in mind. And here I have written it very nicely, desirability by humans, because अगर आप एक एनिमल के लिए प्रोडक्ट बना भी रहे हो तब उसे खरीदेगा इंसान ही, है ना. तो इंसान को समझ में आना चाहिए कि हाउ दैट प्रोडक्ट इज गोइंग टू बी यूज्ड बाय द कैटल और लाइव स्टॉक जो भी है या फिर प्लांट्स. So desirability by humans is very important that we need to understand. The business viability is very practically required, because if you build a product which is too costly or which is not able to satisfy your business requirement, then it is going to create problems. Technical feasibility is a yes, because any which ways you cannot manufacture if the technical feasibility does not work. Now some ideas like colonizing Mars. It will require a lot more time, lot of efforts, lot of technical implementation. I don't know what else, because I cannot think about it, because my idea does not reach that kind of business proposition where I can colonize Mars or Moon or whatsoever. So you have to be very sure about your capabilities and people the network that you have. So if you do not have the proper network or proper people in place, or the marketplace in place, or the whole team who are doing, they have to believe in it, ki this will take 100 years, so 10 years, 15 years. So the team that you build, they should all be on same track, that yes, this is going to take time, this is how it is, we have to live with it, and we have to build it that way. So it depends on the kind of problem that you want to solve. So if it is colonizing Mars, then of course it is going to take a lot of time, lot of effort, lot of more money, and maybe in your lifetime you may not be successful, you may be successful. So those kind of mindset is very important and required. Now, a customer value of your solution. So I already told you it's very important, the willingness of pay. कितना लोगों को pay करना, how much your users are willing to pay for the solution that you're providing will decide on the kind of revenue sources that you have and building your business model. Suppose you are giving a glass that I told hot, cold रहेगा, and then it will not be breakable, then it is durable, and suppose it's very good, still how much a person will pay for a glass? 20 rupees, 30 rupees, 40 rupees. And if you place that glass as a product of 4,000 rupees, then I don't know how much customers you are going to get. And according to that, you have to decide on your revenue sources and build the model that you're going to sell like glass for rupees 40,000 rupees or 4,000 rupees to these many people, and who are your buyers? That will be maybe a very light class customer who are going to buy. So you should have the contact of those light class people, because thinking at your home, selling to light people, celebrities, is not a job. So you need to understand that. So do not, of course, do not rely on early adopters. अगर आपका कोई friend, relative वगैरह कोई celebrity है, आपने उसे 4,000 रुपया glass एक बार बेच दिया, if you sold them a 4,000 rupees worth glass and your friend is a celebrity, just to showcasing his money or his style or whatsoever, you should not customize your product according to their needs, because there are false signals, and to understand that there has to be a product market fit. That is very important. Are you on the slide of 25? Can somebody tell me you are on 25 slide?
Yes, ma'am, it's on
Yes, ma'am.
25.
Chalo, thank you. Thank you. Then we have 2, 3 slides, I guess. Then I will tell you about. Now, I told you that it is very important that there has to be a founder market. That is, founder should understand the market, and then the next point comes is the co-founder dynamics. Because it so happens that you are two friends and you decide to build a startup, and then you are not able to decide who is the boss. Now, this will slow you down. So please understand that co-founder dynamics, everybody should not call them co-founder. One has to be a founder and everybody else has to be co-founder. Am I clear? Am I clear? Okay, because you people are not able to tell, so I assume that this clear. And okay, here it is. So basically, what happens is you have to make decisions together. I understand we are friends and those times, so we will take decisions together, but it will only slow you down. So you have to understand that there can be 5 co-founders taking a decision, but then somebody has to be very fast because you have to adapt very quick. So the co-founders dynamics is also a very important problem in your startup that has to be addressed. Now, all starts, depending on the kind of solution you propose, you think that this is going to work, and you skip some steps, like I told, that desirability, feasibility, and viability. So you don't check the desirability and you directly go to feasibility strategy and you miss some step, then also it is very problematic. Now, one of the most important thing is लोगों को लगता है स्टार्टअप शुरू किया है, अभी तो 2 लोग ही हैं. What kind of structure, what kind of system is required? I'll give you a call, we both will come, we'll decide. No, you have to understand that you are not building a retail store or a kirana wala, one single store. Then this thing is okay, but you are thinking of building a company which is going to scale up. So you have to put a structure, a system, so that you avoid, future organizational chaos, because the growth that you are expecting is 3x, 4x in 2 months, 2 years. So for 4x growth, you have to build a structure and system. So that is one of the most important problem you need to understand inside the company that happens. Problem तो हो गया, बाहर अपने idea का problem हो गया. अब inside problem dynamics पे आपको समझना है. This is very, very important that an engineer, lot of computer engineers together. Now आपने product बना दिया, बेचेगा कौन? Who will sell the product? So you need to have people who are going to sell it. So for that, you have to go search for a better, co-founder dynamics where you have people from sales, marketing, people from, let's say, some experienced people on sales in the similar field or likewise, and you should have some people from finance. So थोड़ा mixture होना ज़्यादा ज़रूरी होता है, so that everybody knows their role. So a lot of people with same kind of specialization should be the core team. That is why we name a lot of, you must understand CEO, COO, CTO, a lot of O's. Now, all these officers' work is different and they have to be very, very careful on whatever they do so that it becomes easier for them to take decisions. So thank you for your attention. ये तो हो गया खत्म. अब मैं कुछ questions लेना चाहूँगी, so you can unmute and I can take some questions. Okay, so no questions. Am I connected or not?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, so no questions. So can I ask questions?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, I have a
Good.
question
Yeah,
regarding.
yes, ma'am.
You can raise your hands. You can raise your hands. It will be nice.
Ma'am, how to make a structure and a system for a startup?
Is this Angad Singh? Who is this? Please
Yes.
tell your name.
Myself,
Angad?
Angad Saluja. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So when we talk about, I have sent you a PPT of a draft pitch deck. I hope you have seen.
Yes,
There is a
ma'am.
team slide
Yes,
in that. And in the team slide, I already told you that whenever you build a structure, we always insist, agar aapke paas you understand Hindi, right? So if you have two startups, two people in your team, and you think that the board of directors is not required, so you don't record it. आपने फोन पे बात कर लिया, फाइनल कर दिया, डिसीजन ले लिया और फिर आपने एग्जीक्यूट कर दिया. नाउ 15 दिन के बाद आपको पता चलता है कि the thing that you have thought has gone wrong. So it is very important to record every board of director meeting. It does not matter how many directors are there, because every founder, co-founder will be one of the directors of the company. So अगर दो भी है तो you should ensure that you record all your board of director meeting. That is the first thing that you can do to structureize your thing. Then filing, because currently all private limited companies have to file their tax, have an audit. They should note down all their expenses on tally. So all these things have to be done. For that, you can take help of any incubator, but you have to do it. So these are the small things, that makes a difference. Once you start recording your BOD and you read it, then you know from where you have grown to what. It is like a story in your Instagram page, जहाँ पे ना आप बच्चे से बड़े होते हो और वो दिखता है पूरा story. So that story should be visible every day. On day 50 to day 500 to day 5000, you know what you did in day 1. So that is the most important thing which will take you from day 1 to day 5000. Otherwise, there will be never a recall कि आपने day 1 में क्या decision गलत लिया था, and you may repeat those decision on day 50, 100, 500 and 5000. So that is why it is very important that you record all your BOD meetings. You file all your expenses on a balance sheet, maintain all records. Email pay, I understand that you function mainly on emails, but it's very important also to keep a track of a dynamic website where you keep track of all the customer feedback that you have got. And eventually you should be very ready with different small usable free of cost digital assets available which can track your health, track your company's health, and also give you ideas of what decisions you have taken or what clients you had. Because eventually what happens is the initial days customers, they have shown trust to you on your very initial days. Evidently you forget them when you grow. So you should always remember those people who have helped you in the beginning, because that is the way you show what to give back to the society. So these are small things which gives to the company. They say leave policy hona. Now you have 20 people or 10 people, you should have a leave policy because you have startup, you have funds, you have raised, so you can afford it. So आप interns ले रहे हो तो interns की policy होनी चाहिए. You should treat every intern equally, because these people are the direct spokesperson about your company to the direct community. तो इंटर्न्स को आप कैसे ट्रीट करते हो, क्या आपने उनको सिखाया, उनके कॉलेज वालों को क्या फर्क दिखा बच्चों में, so that will decide how much interns you're going to get in the next year. Because so these policies are very important. Small policies, interns policies, employee benefits, ESOP, Then I told you BOD. So all these small things are very important to be incorporated. I hope I have answered some questions. If you have more, you can send me an email. I'll be happy to clarify.
Yes,
Angad?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
मैम एक्चुअली एक और क्वेश्चन था
आपको समझ में
कि
आया?
यस मैम टीम बिल्डिंग में एक और चीज पूछनी थी कि टीम बिल्डिंग में मैम एक्चुअली में जैसे स्ट्रक्चर कैसे बनाएं वो प्रॉब्लम थी टीम बिल्डिंग में जैसे
हाँ,
इंटर्न्स
टीम
पहले
बिल्डिंग सी
एडमिट करें कि डायरेक्टली हम जो वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल है उनको लें
वो तो डिपेंड करता है आपके पास फंड्स कितना है. It's very simple. If you have funds, you can pay salary, then take people who are experienced. If not, do all the work, take interns to do the work which is very mundane works. For research, for sales team, sales lead and all, you take interns. But if you have raised enough funds, then you can go ahead and build your team the kind of, or else you can liquidate your research, employee stock options. Okay, Mayank, you had a question?
थैंक यू मैम
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I just wanted to ask कि मैम co-founder and founder में like as you said that अगर 4 बंदे हैं 4 members है तो एक मेन डिसीजन रहेगा जो CEO रहेगा बट आपने ये भी बोला कि ना एक फाउंडर होना चाहिए बाकी co-founder होना चाहिए तो मैंने डिफरेंस समझ में रहा था कि what is the difference between founder and a co-founder?
Yeah, that is what something called a founders accord. है ना? आपने एप्पल की स्टोरी सुनी है ना? क्या हुआ था स्टीव जॉब्स के साथ?
यस मैम
What
उसको
was the
बोर्ड ऑफ
incident,
डायरेक्टर
if you
से हटा दिया
remember?
गया. यस मैम उसने एक डिसीजन
कैसे हटाया?
मेजॉरिटी
नहीं,
से
हटाया
मतलब
कैसे है? वो तो छोड़ दो. हटाया कैसे? अगर वो ओनर है, वो फाउंडर है, तो उसको हटाया कैसे? Now,
बोर्ड में
as a
मेजॉरिटी
founder, you should. हाँ, तो फाउंडर और उस but they came back to Apple how?
न्यू कंपनी करके मर्जर करके आया. न्यू कंपनी लॉन्च किया स्टीव जॉब्स ने दैट डेडिकेटेड टू अ प्रोडक्ट ऑफ एन एप्पल मतलब एक एप्पल के सब्स्टिट्यूट में कोई प्रोडक्ट बनाया जो एप्पल में ही काम करता हो और उसी में फिर मर्ज हो गया एप्पल में.
Now, do you want all this pain in your life? No, ठीक है, जो भी है, it is not important कि वो history क्या था.
Yes,
it is how you understand it. Please understand one thing कि आपने किसी भी बिजनेस प्रोपोजिशन को मेरे हिसाब से उसका एनालिसिस डिफरेंट होगा पर इट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट कि आपने क्या समझा. तो जो आपने समझा, डू यू थिंक इट इज ओके फॉर यू कि आपने कंपनी बिल्ड किया फिर बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स ने आपको निकाल दिया फिर आपने दूसरा कंपनी बिल्ड करके वो कंपनी इतना सब कुछ करने के लिए आप में वो हौसला है? डू यू थिंक या आप पहले से ही केयरफुल रहेंगे दैट योर स्टेक्स आर सेफ?
I want that my stakes will be safe.
So that is what I meant when I told that it is good. It is also very important क्योंकि आप कभी नहीं चाहोगे कि अपनी कंपनी फेल हो जाए ना. तो इसलिए आप को-फाउंडर्स ले रहे हो जिनको आप स्टेक्स दे रहे हो बता रहे हो बट एक फाउंडर अकॉर्ड करके एक डॉक्यूमेंट होता है जो आप बना सकते हो. उसमें ये क्लियरली मेंशन होता है कि ये फाउंडर है, इसके पास इतने वोटिंग राइट्स है, ये को-फाउंडर्स है, इसके पास इतने वोटिंग राइट्स होंगे, इतने स्टेक्स होंगे. फाउंडर हैज दिस काइंड. फाउंडर अगर चाहे तो सीईओ बन सकता है, चाहे तो नहीं बन सकता. इट इज अप टू देम बट देयर इज ऑलवेज अ ओपन थिंग कि आप सीईओ बनो. नाउ ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर very close to a founder only जिसने शुरू किया कंपनी. so if you have started in a group, कोई एक तो होगा उसमें जिसने किंडल किया होगा ना, तो उस बंदे को अपना आइडिया तब तक अपने पास रखना होता है जब तक वो किसी नतीजे पे ना पहुंच जाए कि वो उसे बिल्ड कर सके. that is what I mean when I say founder and founder. आपको अपने स्टेक्स अपने पास रखते हैं, आप सीईओ बन सकते हो नहीं भी बन सकते. सो दैट इज अ डॉक्यूमेंट कॉल्ड फाउंडर अकॉर्ड. इसको आपको बनाना और साइन करवाना है अपने सारे को-फाउंडर से.
मैम बट जैसे हम
लेके उसको पैसे दो ना.
मैम बट जैसे हम किसी से कोई पार्टनर रखेंगे तो उसको तो आइडिया एक्सप्लेन करना पड़ेगा. तो उसको हम अपने जैसे आपने बोला कि आइडिया को आप किंडल तो आइडिया तो वैसे ही डिस्ट्रीब्यूट होगा तभी सामने वाला एग्री करेगा कि यस आई वांट टू बी योर को-फाउंडर करके. तो अपन के आइडिया को
You
हाइड
will
करके रखे
tell
जाता है।
only the part. नहीं, मैं बोल रही हूँ आपका आइडिया विल हैव लॉट ऑफ फैसेट्स। जैसे मैंने बोला ना, आप टेक्निकल पर्सन हो ना, तो आपने कुछ सॉफ्टवेयर बिल्ड किया है या फिर कोई प्रोडक्ट बिल्ड किया है, यू नीड पीपल टू सेल इट, तो सेल्स पिच डिफरेंट होगा ना। आपके पास अलग अलग फीचर्स होने चाहिए। आप जो फाइनेंस रिलेटेड रिक्वायरमेंट है, आप उसको फाइनेंस रिलेटेड रिक्वायरमेंट आप बोलते हो, और उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट काफी लेट में आएगी, सेल्स वाली रिक्वायरमेंट काफी लेट में आएगी। तो जब इनिशियल वर्क आपको खुद से करना है, प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दैट बिफोर टेकिंग co-founders you should be knowing all the facets of your business। वो मेहनत आपको करनी होगी। once you are ready with all the facets कि आपका ये प्रॉब्लम है, उसका सराउंडिंग सब कुछ आपको पता है, then you go search for co-founders। अगर आप पे बहुत अच्छा ग्रुप है, टीम है जो आप मिलके बनाना चाहते हो, that is good, but then you can explain to them this is my idea, so I want to be the founder and you people can be co-founders। if you are not good at pitching, and all, so you make them face of the company and you stay back, that is also possible, but the most important thing is आपको अपना रोल आइडेंटिफाई कर देना है पहले दिन से।
ओके मैम, थैंक यू मैम।
समझ में आया या फिर आई कंफ्यूज्ड यू मोर?
ना मैम, क्लियर हुआ, थोड़ा बहुत क्लियर हो गया, समझ में आया।
हाँ, ओके। सो यू शुड क्लियर, आपको पहले बताना भैया सीटीओ को मेरे को 50% लेके रहना है, दिस इज माय आइडिया, तो यू मेक इट क्लियर द फर्स्ट डे कि मुझे सीईओ नहीं बनना है, मेरे को सीटीओ बनाओ, मेरे को 50% स्टैक मेरे पास, 10% 30% अवेलेबल है, लेना है लोन, नहीं करना है मत लो, वेरी सिंपल। मेरे हिसाब से बोल रही हूँ, एग्जांपल था, यू कैन टेक योर ओन थिंग। Okay, any other questions? I will just, I guess we have already done with it. I'll just take you through maybe, okay, I didn't stop sharing. Okay, so now what I'll do is I will share the, the pitch deck for a while. What is visible? The draft, you people have the pitch deck, right? So the problem you can see, the first slide is the problem. Can you see it? Hello? Disconnect हो गया क्या? Akshat?
Ma'am, it isn't visible now. The screen is
Okay,
blank.
you people have you have the slide with you, no? You can see the third slide, or you can share it from your side also. I am unable to share, I guess. The third slide is the problem. That is the most important slide you need to understand. And इसमें तो point दिए गए हैं, you can use that, or you can have your own slide or own points as well. जरूरी नहीं है कि जो हमने लिखा है वही आप लिखो, but you can always use how you can chip and keep some price from you, chip in from different stakeholders, आप एक analytics वगैरह जो भी आपका problem है वो आप identify करते हो. That is the first slide which I tried to explain in the pitch. Now the next is of course the solution. Solution में it's not very important that you give away the total solution to it, but you can always focus on 1, 2, 3 problems and just highlight the solution, and you give them कि आप पहला क्या, फर्स्ट स्टेप इज व्हाट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, और पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे, उसी में लोगों को ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट होता है कि आप कौन सा प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करोगे और उस प्रॉब्लम से कितना आपको मोनेटाइजेशन हो पाएगा। फिर आप प्रोडक्ट के बारे में थोड़ा बहुत बताते हैं कि क्या आपके पास प्रोडक्ट है जो आप यूएसपी है आपके पास कि बेचना चाहते हो, 5-6 प्रोडक्ट है तो वो भी आप उसमें लिख सकते हो। देयर आर 5 डिफरेंट, बिकॉज प्रोडक्ट ओरिएंटेड कंपनी होगी तो 5-6 प्रोडक्ट्स होंगी, कुछ रिसर्च में होगा, कुछ कहीं होगा। You can actually open the slide and see for yourself. The 5th slide is about product. Then it is very important to talk about key features also, about the product features, because what happens is whenever you are planning for a product, you always end up creating features which you feel is important. पर ये जब आप discuss करना शुरू करते हो and you get feedback from different kind of stakeholders, it becomes easier for you to get benefited. बिजनेस मॉडल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट आपको पहले कैनवस बनाना है. प्लीज रिमेंबर इट. यू ऑलवेज ट्राई टू बिल्ड अ कैनवस फर्स्ट एंड देन यू ट्राई टू बिल्ड ऑन इट. ओके. Now, market opportunity, of course, you have to give the target market and competition. दोनों चीजें आपको बतानी है. टारगेट मार्केट मैंने आपको बता दिया है कि किसके लिए आप प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहे हो और कौन कौन है जो उस प्रॉब्लम को आपके साथ साथ सॉल्व कर रहा है. Growth strategy will come very later on once you build the product. ये तो बनाया गया है, ये सब कुछ इंक्लूड करके ये पिच डेक बनाया गया है, बट यू हैव टू पिक अप द स्लाइड्स एज पर योर स्टेज ऑफ स्टार्टअप. अगर आप बहुत इनिशियल डेज में हैं तो आप उसको डिफरेंट करते हैं. अगर आप थोड़ा लेट फेज में चले गए हैं तो आप थोड़ा डिफरेंट वे में प्रेजेंटेशन बनाते हैं. तो ग्रोथ स्ट्रेटजी डिपेंड करेगी कि आपने एक साल रिसर्च में लगा दिया तो उस हिसाब से आप अपना स्केलिंग उसमें दिखाते हैं. ये 5-year projection है, which is of course not very important, but you can always show it when you have reached at least to a phase where you have the product ready, you have your team ready and everything. And then this is a very important feature where you try to give a timeline कि आपने कहाँ से शुरू किया था, क्या क्या उसमें आपने किया. हमने इसमें ऐसे टेंटेटिवली डिजाइन फोकस ग्रुप करके दिया हुआ है, फीडबैक एमबीपी ऐसे करके दिया है, बट दिस कैन चेंज एज पर योर प्रोडक्ट रिक्वायरमेंट. Financials is very important when you are going for a for a pitch, maybe series A वगैरह में वहाँ पे financials बहुत जरूरी होता है. अगर आपका स्टार्टअप 2-3 साल पुराना हो गया है तब वो बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी हो जाता है. But when you start the financials, nobody asks actually. But yes, the 5-year projection कुछ लोग अब भी पूछते हैं. Now the team, the 13th slide is team. Now team में CEO, CO और CTO are the 3 important feature because any which ways we will be building tech companies. Okay, somebody has shared it. Thank you so much. Now we are on the 13th slide, which is talking about team. Yes. So कोई अभी पूछ रहे थे, शायद अंगद पूछ रहा था कि मैडम टीम कैसे बनाए. Now before anybody you have to have a CEO. वो बहुत important हो जाता है. फिर अगर टेक कंपनी है तो CTO बहुत important हो जाता है. तो ये दोनों चीजें हैं. फिर आपको operations की जरूरत पड़ती है. Then you go ahead for operations. You can go to the next slide. Funding में आपको basically आपको बहुत केयरफुली फंडिंग का डिफरेंट कैटेगरी होता है. नाउ वन इज ग्रांट्स, बैंक लोन्स, सीसीडी वगैरह जो भी है, एंड देन यू हैव इक्विटी डाइल्यूशन. नाउ आपको ये सोच के चलना है कि इनिशियल डेज में अगर आपका प्रोडक्ट बहुत ज्यादा इनोवेटिव है देन यू विल गेट लॉट ऑफ ग्रांट्स. स्टार्टअप ओडिशा इकोसिस्टम में बहुत सारे ग्रांट्स अवेलेबल है जो आपको इजीली मिल सकते हैं. तो यू कैन कंसिडर दैट इफ योर प्रोडक्ट इज वे टू मच इनोवेटिव देन यू कैन गो अहेड एंड बिल्ड ऑन द ग्रांट्स पार्ट. नाउ सीसीडी और लोन. सीसीडी इज यूजुअली कंपल्सरी कन्वर्टेबल डिवेंचर होता है जिसमें आपको सीएसआर फंड्स वगैरह या फिर सीड फंड वगैरह मिल जाता है फ्रॉम गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया या फिर किसी भी सीएसआर फंड की कंपनी हो गई. उसमें क्या होता है, get a CCD which is basically compulsory convertible debentures. So they will give you, let's say, 10 lakh rupees and you have to give them equity. Now after a period of time, let's say 18 months or 2 years or 1 year, you have to return that 10 lakh to them. If you do not return on the said date, then they will take the 2% of your fund. Otherwise they will not take anything. Okay. Now the last is equity based fundings or investments, which is you know how that works. So you have angel investors, you have venture capitalists, then you have small time investors, local investors. So usually it is equity based investment. तो वो इसका वेरिएशन है जो आपको इसमें करना होता है. Now it is very important to summarize. Next slide please. It is very important that you give a summary of your whole project. It can be a short video of your starting till date, या फिर it should be a story where from कि आपने कहाँ से शुरू किया, कहाँ पे खत्म किया, कैसे आप आगे इसे लेके जाने चाहते हो, what is that is in your mind about your startup, how did you start it, how you're going to end it, what is your क्योंकि इन्वेस्टर अगर होगा तो दे ऑलवेज लुक फॉर एन एग्जिट प्लान कि हाउ दे कैन get money and get out of your company. So all those things has to be clearly mentioned. वो एक अलग से पूरा क्लास हो जाएगा अगर हम exit strategy पे बात करेंगे. But now it is very important to give them a summary of what you have done and what is there for me. अगर मैं incubator हूँ, अगर मैं स्मॉल टाइम इन्वेस्टर हूँ, बैंक हूँ, तो मेरे लिए क्या है, व्हाट इज द बेनिफिट दैट आई हैव इफ आई इन्वेस्ट इन योर कंपनी. द समरी शुड टॉक अबाउट इट आल्सो. Now these are some of the testimonials which you can get from any stakeholder, clients or let's say जब आप MVP बना रहे थे तो any feedbacks. So testimonials from people also matters कि उससे बताता है आपका नेटवर्क कितना स्ट्रांग है, कौन कौन आपको बैक कर रहे हैं, तो इस टेस्टिमोनियल से वो पता चलता है कि who are the important people who believe in you. So if they believe in you, inadvertently I also believe in you. So it is that thing which has to be pitched, right? And there are some other slides also, but we have given you a basic thing so that you have an understanding of how to make a pitch deck. So then we can work on it. If we have a preliminary pitch deck ready, then maybe our FEBS society people will bring you to us and we will help you to build a proper pitch deck. Twitch something here and there, add some slides, add something extra. Or if it is a very innovative approach, then we will find out what is the note on innovation and project it more. So it depends on what kind of project you have. So the last slide would be, I guess, thank you. Testimonials ho gaya mera. Then the last slide is thank you. Yeah, this is the testimonial. Testimonial is because you want to tell people who all are your clients and how important people they are to the society. So if these people believe in me, you can believe in me. आपको समझ में आ रहा है ना? सिंपल सा हिसाब है. मुझे प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया बिलीव करते हैं तो यू शुड ऑल्सो बिलीव मी. ऐसा कुछ है ना? Right, so I have completed this one very fast. You can ask me one or two questions that I can take, but not more than that. Okay, any question? So here there's Mayank, Akshat, Shreya, Ranjit, Hemant, Avinash, Yashwant, Vishal, Gauri. Okay, I'll just try to. Ankit, Arshad, Amitesh, Ashish, Ayush. Okay, any questions anybody has? No, so I guess it ends here, Akshat, then?
Yeah, I just have something to say, then we can end the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, so thanks a lot for delivering an exceptional session on operations, process management, problem identification, and pitching. The insights and knowledge you shared were truly invaluable, ma'am, making it both engaging and enlightening for all the attendees. It was really great to learn from a person who has started a startup by themselves. So, once again, thanks a lot for joining and taking out your valuable time and sharing your insights with us. Thanks a lot.
I have to say one thing. It was not at all engaging. So I guess you have to find some other platform where it can be more engaging. Because I just wanted to talk to people because then it also makes sense, So I could have kindled maybe some ideas and understand what they want to do. But you can always share my email ID with them. If they want, they can write to me directly. I am unable to use the chat option or the Q&A, but here maybe I will just share my email ID if it goes then. Or else you can share my email. I'm not able to write. I don't know what is wrong.
Okay, ma'am. I'll share the email ID on the
Fine.
group.
Okay. Chalo, then.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.